Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to our Emmy Contenders series. My name is Yvonne Villarreal and I cover television. We're here today with Tituss Burgess, who stars in Netflix's Unbreakable.
How do you say your last name again?
Villarreal.
Villarreal.
Yes, that's better than a lot of people.
Villarreal. All right, that's really good.
I just saw you like stare, like, what did
she
she
just
say?
say? Did you just cuss me out? And I don't know it.
How would Titus Andromedon say my name?
Fuck, I don't know. It's been so long since I've been inside him, or that came out wrong. He would just call you Evie. He doesn't have time.
I mean, that's keeping it real.
All right.
Before we talk about this being the final season, you must have had to go through JFK to get here.
I'm so
Please tell me.
I just filmed a little thing today.
Okay, look, for the people that don't know, Titus has a real issue with JFK, and I sympathize because you have to go to the end of the earth.
It is truly the end of the earth. It's ridiculous. A, B, I loathe that they have the audacity. First of all, why do those little moving sidewalks stop? Shouldn't it just keep going?
Just keep going, yes.
And if you want to get off, then don't get on.
Yeah.
Or talking about it, really, I'm gonna run for mayor. We're gonna fix that shit. Watch.
Why did it speak to you that I have to voice my frustration about
because
this?
I'm the voice for the people. The voice for the voiceless. I don't know. I don't like. I have a real issue with people who waste time.
I hear that.
It sends, and I have an issue with people who are offended by questions surrounding time.
Yes.
Because my goal is I wake up, I want to go to work, I love my job, but don't you want to go home?
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't, but don't impair my ability to go home early.
Yes.
So, but as it relates to work, though, I just always want to know where to put my energy. But a lot of people don't hear it that way. But
yeah.
But as it relates to JFK, if they're watching, I just thought, y'all don't got no suggestion box, so I'm just gonna turn Instagram into my suggestion box of what you should do to JFK. That's good.
And I feel like people agree with you.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
And now LaGuardia, it's closer to where I live, but they acting out too.
Better.
I got in and out of LAX so fast this morning.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I
Maybe
always
might
do
be
Burbank.
moving.
It's easier.
It's too far.
Yeah, it is.
It's too far.
Well, back to Kimmy Schmidt. I mean, this is the first series that you've been on that's come to a close, right?
Yeah.
With you as...
It was my first... The answer is yes to all of those things.
Yeah. So what were you expecting, with it coming to an end? How were you feeling? Because people describe it either as a death or as graduation. How do you feel about it?
It was graduation.
Yeah.
I didn't feel a death at all. This is such a multi-tiered question and answer. I am so grateful and deeply indebted to Tina and Robert and Netflix and NBC for giving me that show. And grateful that NBC saw the light of day and elected to allow Tina and Robert to move to Netflix. And were it not for so many little off the beaten paths, parts of the trail, I wouldn't be here. And so, and while we were filming, and while we were doing the table reads, and while we were, waiting for them to fix the lights, or, discussing a line to cut, that was not downtime for me. I was at school. I had to know. People say I have control issues. I don't have control issues. I just wanted to make the most of an experience that I didn't know if I was going to ever have again. My grandmother always said, prepare for war in the time of peace. And I had to stock up and get as much information as I could so that I could parlay that experience into other things, because I will never wait for anyone to give me a job, ever. And so when it was time, I wasn't the showrunner. I'm not NBC and I'm not Netflix. So if they said it was time, it was time. I mean, I didn't write the episodes.
Right.
And I never know what's coming before we do it on purpose, because I want to have as an authentic experience as an actor responding to the script as possible, so that I turn in as authentic a performance as I possibly can. But if I had to be objective and give an opinion about when the plug should have been pulled, I would say there isn't. They eked out everything, and they were so thorough, and the arcs and the full circle moments were so satisfying. And I always think it's better to leave on a high note,
Right.
Than to have people going, okay. I never want people to tire of an experience that's so good, because it, in some ways, feeds into how fervently they may look for you elsewhere. So, sadness was never maybe melancholy, but I was never sad. I'm even now. I just, all I think about is, oh my God, I got to truly, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah.
And it happened so fast.
Yeah.
And being at the Emmys and hearing my name and with all these people that I've watched for so long, I'm so moved by it. So
I was going to say you were nominated for 4 Emmys, 3 Critics' Choice Awards, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. I mean, what was that ride like?
Do you know what? I kind of forgot about it. So I was like, oh yeah. I appreciate conversations like this, because I rarely get to be me in an interview setting, because people are always eking out something flashy as though they're interviewing the character that I play. But I am an introvert, and I do not like attention. And so having that much attention bestowed upon me was a little uncomfortable. But the honor, though, I don't even.
Well, because when you think, do you sometimes I have those moments thinking back to the little girl that used to watch All in the Family or all these shows, and just was so enthralled by what was there. Yeah. And for you, those times you were at your grandparents or whatever,
it fills me.
Yeah, you don't see this in your in the realm of possibilities, I would imagine.
Well, it was not something that I wanted for, or I didn't yearn for it until later in my life. I was enjoying a wonderful career on Broadway, and I grew, what's the word? Not bored, but I was hungry. My appetite, I craved a different palate, and I knew that there was something more waiting for me. And I didn't know what, and I didn't. I never forget. Tina reminds me all the time. I never forget when you're setting up the shot or whatever. They say, well, let's mark it. And in theater, marking means to not do it full out. So I was like, oh no, I'll do it full out. It's just performing the hell out of the scene. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're like, no, they literally be marking it, where you gonna go or whatever. Yeah. So I was a novice, I didn't know. But it certainly, there is a select component of this that has now ambushed me in the most beautiful way into monitoring what I pray for and how I ask for it. Because the return for this life was rather quick in the scheme of things. When I got done with 30 Rock, I came home and I finally felt like I knew what I wanted to do. And I had such beautiful validation all around, and I was like, if you, universe, give me, this job, I will turn it into as many opportunities for people who won't have the opportunity that I had as possible. And I was living in Midtown at the time, and on 47th Street between 8th and 9th. And the building got bought, the rent went up, and I couldn't afford it. I had to move out. Cut to 5 years later, get a call from my manager. She's like, when's the last time you talked to Tina? I was like, well, 5 years ago when I was on 30 Rock. And she goes, well, either you're about to get a job or this is a really mean joke. Cut to me getting the job, and I have to report to Midtown. They say, go to 50th and 8th and someone will walk you to your trailer. And my trailer subsequently ended up being right outside the apartment that I had to move out of, where I prayed for this job, my hand to God. And I sobbed and wept and cried, and it was such a grand gesture. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to get Barbara Walters on you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, let's talk about where Titus, the character, ends up over the course of these 4 seasons. Because oftentimes with comedies, it's hard to track the progression of a character.
Sure.
Or it comes very slow. And where Titus ends up is not where he started. We see him really consider other people's feelings.
Right. I think that's something that you can build a whole show based on how someone is inconsiderate. But yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of that development for him, and then ultimately where we do see him in the future?
Well, to talk about that, I have to talk about a plot point that is not the star of the show, but I think is the real issue here. When people are closeted and are not, who don't come out,
Right.
who are repressed, suppressed, depressed, all of the S's, it offsets an imbalance in how you move about the earth. And you move into fight or flight mode, survival mode. And I think when we met Titus, he was in survival mode. And it is hard to unlearn how to not be in survival mode. And your every decision is just to stay alive. Your every decision is based on just holding it together. So I don't think the way the world met him is not who he ever really was. It was protection. It was protection. And subsequently, worrying about someone else or allowing space for someone else to have an experience that is not selfish or satisfying or self-satisfying, it just was out of the realm of possibility. Why then would I take care as Titus Andromedon to let you go down this road either without me or with me when it doesn't involve me? And that is what I used to help me actually lean into the part of him that did not take other people's feelings into consideration. Because every moment of his, I feel like he stole, because he had lived so long without feeling, without living. And I think as a result, it made for some unfortunate decision making, and it chased away periodically relationships that we find out later would prove to to be good for him. And I think falling in love was the best cure, the best thing that could have ever happened to him. And how lucky was I to work with Mikey, who's one of my best friends,
Yeah.
and in real life, and that lured him out of the space that he didn't even realize he had been in. I don't even know if I answered your question. But
No, you did.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But was it heartening to see him sort of end up with what he always wanted, which was being on Broadway?
I think at that point it didn't even matter to him anymore.
Huh.
I don't think it mattered to him anymore. I think he was so consumed because he only did it to impress Mikey. So whether it was that or getting a job at the gas station, I don't think it even mattered to him anymore.
So we talked about your character's evolution. How would you describe what your evolution was like in these
Oh, child.
4 seasons?
How much time do you have? I've gone through a great deal in the last 4.5 years. And most recently, it seemed to force me to make some interesting decisions about who I hang around, who I allow to be privy to what information. I'll give you some real stuff. The world who came to know me as Titus Andromedon. In therapy the other day, my therapist was like, Titus, you are an empath of the highest order. So much so that I have issues deciphering if the feelings that I'm feeling are mine or if they are someone else's in the room. And I'm an only child, and I've been like that since I was a kid. And when we would go to church or go to the grocery store or whatever, Mom was like, why, you look so sad? Or like, what changed or whatever? And I didn't have the vocabulary to articulate what the issue was. Recently, a body of people, my information got hacked.
Oh my God.
It's all right. And subsequently, people learned who Tituss Burgess was. Now, when they learn you and your name is Titus, and you play this character, the fall from grace, they feel betrayed when they realize you are not the same that person every single day of the year. So I then internalized this bizarre sense of, when people come up to me on the street, I gotta chum it up or gotta perform, thank you. And my doctor was like, Titus, that's not you, that is not yours, that is theirs. And I didn't even realize that I was obliging myself and expending energy that was misplaced when I could be putting it towards my own art. And the evolution, I think, for me was realizing the importance of one's job and how, in my situation, it affects people when you're coming into their homes and you're on TV and they, we expectation, thank you, boundaries, all of that, and I had to learn very quickly how to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
And pardon me. And it took 4 years. I even remember Tina was going to, we never got around to do it when I first started. She goes, I need to take you out to lunch to teach you how to be a celebrity. And I didn't know what that meant. And I was like, what you mean? I got this. Didn't. And I probably should still have lunch with her regarding that. But I realize now, though, that because I move in the world, because this attention is so recent, I speak often of going to my favorite 99-cent store and yada yada, but now I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't give this person my number, or I probably shouldn't invite so-and-so over just because they're my next door neighbor. Right. I just, and not that everyone means you ill will.
Right.
But there's it is not just me I'm protecting anymore, it's my partner, it's my mom, and so the truth of the matter is that has been the greatest most painful growth.
How are you feeling? Because we know we're getting this interactive special. Mm-hmm. So going back into the character, it's been a year since you guys filmed the final season, right? And you're about to start back up again. Is that a weird thing because you thought you said goodbye? But I mean, there was always talks of doing something more.
She's so funny. Publicist.
Yes.
Well, I've not read it. I don't know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. The sight of Ellie Kemper brings me such immense joy. I am reduced to childhood fodder.
Yes.
The sight of Carol
Yes.
puts me in stitches because she is everything you think she is and more. And she's a legend. And when I remind myself that I'm going to get to spend time with a woman who's walking history and she is one of the greats and she's worked with all the greats. And then Jane, my sister, my little twin sister, those are the things that help me find Titus Andromedon again. So with the help of my friends, I think we will have a wonderful time. That is the only answer I can give.
Well, so many people want a Titus spinoff.
No.
You're like, no.
I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's wise. On a personal level, and they will see very shortly because my EP is coming out in July, and I will fly back out here and talk to y'all about it.
Yes.
There's so much in me that I am deeply desirous of sharing with the world. And it is taking a very long time to position it and to get it right. But we are very near a commercial production of some sort, much nearer than we've ever been, of The Preacher's Wife. So the world will get to see that. This music I've been sitting on for a while, and it feels more topical now than ever, and it's extremely personal. And then in February, am getting to perform a concert at Carnegie Hall of all Sondheim's music. And it's almost like I have to guide those who know me into convincing them that I am just as interesting as Titus Andromedon. Mm-hmm. And so were a spinoff even proposed, I would say no. But also, he was so full and present without my gorgeous co-stars. There would be nothing for him to do, to play off of. So I think Titus Andromedon is inextricably tied to Lillian and Kimmy and the rest. You know, Jacqueline, Mikey. He belongs. We need those parameters. We need those backdrops, and we need the backdrop of New York City. Otherwise, it just is not going to be funny, or it just isn't right. So he's right where he needs to be. He had his run. Thank you.
How was it being part of the Good Fight?
That is my
because like
honey.
The wardrobe, and you got to wear some of it.
I lived my fullest Good Fight dream. Those kings, they could write a damn show.
They can.
Kush Jumbo.
Yeah. I mean,
can I just give her a standing ovation? First of all, she is such a brilliant actress, and warm, beautiful, kind. You know, I know Audrey McDonald peripherally, but I didn't get to work with her as much, and I know Christine Baranski because growing up watching what's Sybil's show, what was that show?
Sybil.
Yeah. Was it called Sybil?
Sybil,
Yeah. And I just followed her all the way through. But the entire cast, it was just, I loved it. I'm a huge Juliana Margulies fan.
Oh, yeah.
So when The Good Wife ended, I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
Because I thought, that is skill. She just is wonderful.
How did you react to the Josh Charles death? Because I was on the floor.
That was a funeral.
I was on the floor, yeah.
I was stunned. I was angry.
Yes.
I was getting ready to protest. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, no.
You will not do this to me. Oh, it was just too much. Like, it was a lot.
But I love the storyline you have. Like, one, I thought, like, oh, is this going to be a Kim Kardashian Kanye thing? Because you're a hairdresser.
Right. They take you down the yellow brick road, honey. It was great. I was fun. I'd love to come back. That was really fun. But you know what I've been watching, though? Fleabag. Who is that woman? And where have I been?
Where have you been? And that's all we get is 2 seasons. That is it. That is it. The Priest? Come on.
There was only one season, right?
2.
No. The
There's
Priest?
2. Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, The Priest.
Yes.
On Fleabag. I was like, because I'm thinking you're talking about Jude Law's show. I was like, it's only one season.
That's Hope, isn't it?
Oh, you're right.
It's one of them.
It was a Pope.
It's one of them. Yeah.
The Priest, who was the bad guy on Sherlock, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
First of all, let me go confess. Oh my God. But
Fleabag
what a
is
beautiful, strange.
Yeah.
How did she pitch it? I wonder.
No.
Like, what did you say, honey? Because I would have been like, girl, if you don't get this idea out of here, out of this office. Oh man, it was so. Oh, and the woman, the stepmom. Yeah, I can't. Okay. She wore me out. It's so good. And how one person was able to write, because I think she wrote every episode, didn't she? Like how she fully formed, and like everyone, there was never a character that let's see, how do I articulate this? There was not one character on that show that did not need to be there. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Everyone who was there
Had a purpose.
to be
Yeah.
there. And it was
She needs to teach a
so
master
sad.
class.
Let me sign up. It was so good. One more show that I'm obsessed with. Dead to Me.
Christina
Y'all.
Applegate.
Christina Applegate?
And
Burgess?
the cursing. The cursing is what I love from her. She curses like a sailor.
But this dramatic performance that she's giving, I didn't know. Like, and what's that guy? The hottie?
James Marsden.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I won't tell you how it ends in the season 1, but I was devastated.
I died when he was jumping on the trampoline. I was like, really?
But
Perfect.
again, though, that show
That
is the
detail.
perfect balance of dramedy.
Yeah.
Dramedies are very, very difficult to get right, and the way that they temper it, and it is. I'm angry that I'm already done with it, but Christina Applegate, honey, if you're listening, bravo! Like, my God, you give such a stunning performance.
Really good.
So good.
Well, we're getting into our lightning round questions. You're going to have to
Okay.
come up with something else now. What
Oh,
is
no.
the last show you binge watched?
Dead to Me. Dead to Me. Oh! It's about a fat girl who's skinny and
Shrill.
hot. No.
Fat girl skinny hot.
She's hot now, and like she killed someone at the end. Insatiable.
Oh, Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, really funny. And Miss Thing from Charmed,
Yeah.
she's on
Alyssa.
it. She's on it. Hilarious, great performance.
Were you a Game of Thrones person?
No.
Okay.
Too
We'll
many
skip that.
series regulars. Too many people to follow. Sorry about it. Like the first time I tried the first time, I was like, what in the hell is going on?
What classic TV show would you have loved to be on?
Oh man, none of them. Because I tell you what, I watched Ellie Kemper nail it. And all the family, and then the Jeffersons, the thing that they
Yeah.
just recently did, and it was such a heavy dose of nostalgia. And for an hour, I just felt like everything was all right with the world, and I want to watch that. I don't want to be responsible for making people feel that because I need it. So that's my answer.
Worst job you've ever had, and it doesn't have to be in acting.
Working at Ruby Foo's in Times Square.
Oh my God.
Donnie, they are so militant. I was like, girl, we are not curing cancer. I'm finna go see these motherfuckers at their table, and that's gonna be that. Do not get in my ear yelling anymore. Do you know? I took that earpiece out and walked my black ass out the door. I quit.
I used to hate when I was living there, and people always wanted to go there. Like,
It's delicious. It was
I
delicious.
don't want to go in there. It's such a process.
You think?
It's such a process.
You had to get an MRI, a CAT scan,
Seriously.
X-rays.
Yeah.
Give your social.
Yes.
And your firstborn child
Yes.
to get on the waiting list.
Yes.
Y'all can have it.
Yeah, y'all can have it. Well, thank you so much for being
No,
here.
we'll talk some
It
more.
was a pleasure. For all you tuning in, thanks so much. If you want to see more of our Emmy chats, head over to latimes.com.